Hello and welcome back to this session on content calendars. I'm Jade Stiano, Digital Skills Program Manager at Media Trust, and I'll be your host for this session. This session, we're going to talk about how to create a content calendar which will lead to more efficient digital communications. And we are delighted to welcome Catherine George, from social media expert and founder of Oh So Social. Catherine opened up a new wave of marketing in 2014 when she started Oh So Social, Cornwall's first marketing agency focused solely on social media. Having previously worked on high-profile projects for Dancing on Ice Tour, Team GB, and Spanish Riding School of Vienna, Catherine's level of knowledge and wealth of experience in social media marketing was in short supply, resulting in a rapid growth of Oh So Social over the first few years. If you have any questions for Catherine through her presentation, post these in the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Catherine.
Hi, thanks, Jay. Thank you so much for the introduction. So let's just make sure my screen share works. So hopefully everyone can see the slides. Brilliant. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. Today, we're going to talk about quick wins when it comes to creating content calendars. So hopefully this will be really beneficial for everyone on the call. If you have any kind of questions as we go, please pop them in the chat. I'd love to see some engagement and general excitement. So let's start with the awkward introduction. So who am I? And how do I know what I'm talking about? So as Jade has already said, my name is Catherine George. I help businesses and brands from all over the world of all shapes and sizes master their social media and bring really tangible return on investments. I do this in two ways. I own a full-service social media marketing agency called Oh So Social, and I have a sister company called Oh So Savvy, which offers primarily free social media tips and tricks. I'm a Meta print lead trainer, Vodafone Business Connect advisor, official Facebook and Meta She Means Business trainer, Small Business Britain champion, and lots of other awards and accolades. So hopefully today I can guide you guys through and bring you some really strong value. So let's start with a poll. So who is already using a content calendar? And if you do, what tools are you using? So if you are already using a content calendar, what we can do, oh, hang on, Donna can't see anything. I don't know if anyone else can see my slides. Could we just hear in the comments, please, in the chat, if anyone can see the slides, or if it's just Donna. Okay, brilliant. So hopefully everyone else can see the slides. Donna, I'm sorry, I'm not quite sure what's going on for you. Hopefully one of the team can help. So if we can go back to the kind of question, is anyone already using a content calendar? So let's see with emojis, let's give us a reaction, let's give us a thumbs up if you are already using a content calendar. And if you are, please just comment in the chat what you are using for your content calendar. So what is that tool you are using to organize all of your content and bring it all together? Thank you so much to everyone as well who's commented saying that they can see and hear me. Thank you so much. Hopefully we can get everything sorted. So Jade used Trello, which is great. Brilliant. Facebook Planner, Excel. Great. So some of us are using content calendars. Some of us have given it a go. Oh, Orlo, Sprout Social. Great. So we've got a few people who started to use content calendars. Lots of people who hopefully by the end of today will know where they can go and start one and feel inspired. I absolutely love the whiteboard in the office. I love a whiteboard as well. We've actually got one in our office. I drive my team mad by writing ideas on it. Brilliant. So lots of people already using content calendars. Some of us not quite there yet. So let's jump in and kind of see how these can add value to your business. So let's start with this question of what is a content calendar? So I get asked this all of the time. And then I get asked the follow-up questions of, do I really need one? I'm only a small team. There's only 3 or 4 of us. Are they really important? What are they? Is it not just something else I have to do that's going to take loads of time? Well, this is a great definition of a content calendar, and it's simply a plan. So a content calendar is a great way to plan and organize all of your marketing, posting, and schedule. It includes what you're going to share, where you're going to share it, and when you will share it. It can focus on one area of marketing, such lots of people have social media content calendars, but don't think about it for the rest of their marketing, or you can include all of your marketing plan. So it really is a great way to bring all of your marketing efforts together. And the idea of having a really strong content calendar is you no longer get those moments, which we've all had as marketers, where we go, oh my God, that event is in 2 weeks' time and we've not promoted it yet. Or, oh my God, we've forgotten there's a long weekend, or Halloween, and we could have used that within our marketing. Content calendars are a great way to bring all of your efforts together and hopefully prevent you from having those, oh my God moments. And actually as well, allow you to plan your content. So you're no longer there of a morning going, oh, well, I don't know what we should do in our newsletter or on our social today. Actually, this helps and guides you, brings everything together in a nice, cohesive way. So next kind of question is, do you think, for those of you who haven't got a content calendar yet, do you think one would benefit your organization? So again, if we can just see via reactions, I'm hoping we get lots of likes here. That's why you're on the call. It's quite interesting, actually. We hear this quite a lot. It's like there can be a real debate internally about whether content calendars are a useful tool or if they are just additional work. But they are really strong and they can really benefit your business. So where do you create your content calendars? And as we've already seen from people already commenting and engaging, there are so many different places to create your content calendars, and they vary depending on what you're using them for. So some businesses use standalone email calendars or social media calendars, such as Hootsuite or MailChimp, while others use them for all of their marketing, which brings a much stronger idea of synergy and actually can really help you achieve all of your entire marketing strategy, not just one element. So it helps to bring you synergy, it helps to bring the team together, and it can really boost your marketing efforts. There's a huge range of free and paid tools available. However, I'm going to share some of my favorite free tools with you today. So the kind of introduction, a great place to start if you've never done it before, is with Excel or Google Sheets. So there are loads of free templates for Excel and Google Sheets for content calendars, and they're available all over the web. HubSpot actually offer a great free example template to get you started, but so does Excel Online and Google Sheets. These can be really great because they're free and easy to use. Everyone like me who really likes to physically see something, they like to see something tangible, they like to touch it, they like to write on it, they like to draw on it. They can be easily printed off, they can be easily changed, and if you're using them online, multiple people can edit them, contribute to them, monitor them, and it can all be done really easily. And of course, Excel and Google Sheets are very low cost. Google Sheets are free. Excel can normally come with your Outlook. The one kind of downside to Excel and Google Sheet is they can get very big, and this can make them very difficult to manage. A great solution to this is if you are using Excel or Google Sheets for your entire marketing plan, is have a big overall strategy on your top layer and then use different tabs or sheets to split down each individual activity. So we have a big Gantt chart on page 1. This is our campaign. This is what we're going to achieve during this campaign. On tab 2, we see our social media. On tab 3, we see our email. On tab 4, we see our PR. So that allows us to really break it down and make it a much more easy to manage tool. So here is just a really simple example of an Excel or Google sheet. So really nice. And actually this is, well, who is going to be responsible for this? When is it going to happen? This is the plan. This is when it's going to be, and this is what we're going to do. So really nice and simple. Then everything is broken down in the following pages. Another way of doing Excel or Google Sheets is more of kind of a list format. So this is being created in Excel and then pulled out, and you can see it's run with general monthly themes. Then everything is split down to, well, this is going to be our priority. These are going to be our content pillars for this week. We'll talk about content pillars later in the slide deck. And these are going to be the hashtags we use on every network. So it just allows for this really kind of overall split of, these are the themes. This is what we're going to work with. And then this is how we're actively going to break it down and make it happen. So my next platform I'm going to talk to you about, and I absolutely love, is Trello. I'm a huge fan of Trello. It's free, it's easy to use. It's a great way that you can make changes and collaborate with others. So multiple people from multiple different organizations can access a Trello board. And this does work really nicely if you're working with third parties. So say you've got someone coming in working on an event with you, or you have someone who's going to create some content with you. You can share your Trello board, you can share your ideas, and everyone can really easily access everything. Another pro that I quite like that isn't on this list is you can even change the background of each board. So it represents your business and you can make it a really nice place to be. You can add custom power-ups, which are free. I believe it's one per board, like calendar view. So for everyone else on this call like me who loves to see everything in a calendar, and there's a great advantage to calendar views because it allows you to work backwards. Again, it's something I'm going to explain later in this deck. But it allows you to see everything physically as it runs through. And it's another great thing when we're all working in marketing, we're all promoting events in the future. Sometimes you forget it's actually the 18th of October today. By having everything on a calendar view, it allows you to go, okay, so this event is happening on Halloween, and oh my God, it's already the 18th of October. So we know how we're seeing it. A con to Trello is it is online only, and sometimes that free version can have limited functionality. But again, if you know what you're doing with it, you know what you're trying to achieve, it should work really well for you. As with a lot of these solutions, they can get a little big and difficult to manage. But again, do what we do with Excel, do what we do with Google Sheets. So create an overall Gantt chart, an overall plan, create your lead content calendar on one board, then break down your other activities into different boards. So here is just a really quick example of a really nice, simple content calendar created on Trello. So this is very much for a social media element. So we go, actually, this is what we are doing every week. We know that we've got content, themes, and topics for Monday. Then we've got different themes for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This prevents us using repetitive content, and it also prevents us having that, what am I going to post moment? The great thing is as well, we can see really easily that we've got calls to action. We know that we have to promote certain things and certain events with a certain lead time. So Trello is a great tool and it's completely free. So what about social media only content calendars? Now, this is a common thing. 9 times out of 10, we see organizations using social media only content calendars and then kind of forgetting about the rest. But there are ways you can leverage your social media content calendars to make them worthwhile for other areas of your business. And when it comes to social content calendars, there's so many places to start. So Facebook Creator Studio is a really handy tool. My favorite thing about it is it's free and it's easy to use. It has great insights and analytics. It also allows you to manage all of your community. So all of your notifications, all of your mentions, all of your messages all come in one place. My other favorite thing about it is you can actively schedule your work as you go. So we don't have to write an idea on one piece of software and replicate it across to another piece of software. You can type in your ideas as you get them within Facebook Creator Studio. On the flip side of this is it is online only, and it does only work with Facebook and Instagram. So if you are running email and Twitter and TikTok and LinkedIn, Facebook Creator Studio might not be the best place for you to try to run your content calendar. And occasionally, as with all Facebook products, they can be a little complicated to set up. But they can be a really nice way to slide into this calendar view and really easily plan and schedule your content. And you can see from here, it's a really nice way to build up excitement as you get nearer events. And then the final one I'm going to talk about in detail is Hootsuite. So Hootsuite has a free introduction account. I believe there's also a 50% discount for non-for-profits. So we'll get that link shared with you later. It is easy to use, and it will have some features available to you, including reporting. Downsides with Hootsuite are they are online only. They're limited amounts of content for the free version, so you are limited to how much content you can actually write. And as with all software like this, you can't ensure it will be free forever. But there are so many more places that you can do your content calendars. We use Agora Pulse in this office and Monday. So we do our strategies in Monday, our social scheduling in Agora Pulse. But you can also use places like TweetDeck if you rely heavily on Twitter. Asana is a great project management tool. MailChimp, Later, and actually now every social media software, including TikTok, does have a scheduling offer. And this is where I can tell you the big secret about this. There is no right or wrong way. So many people come up to me and they go, I'm really worried I'm doing my content calendar wrong. Or I haven't done a content calendar because I'm not quite sure what it is. I'm worried people are going to judge me. I'm just worried it's not going to be right. The big secret is do what is best for you and your organization. Focus on making it manageable, focus on making it understandable, and just focus on what is going to work for you as the person running it. It's great creating these really fancy, complicated calendars, but if they aren't right for you, it's not going to work. It's going to limit our results. So now we know where. So now we have a good idea of where we're going to create our content calendar. How do we actually start? So, and remember that content planning is a never-ending journey. So again, think about what is right for you. If you want to create a content calendar for the next 12 months, amazing, phenomenal. If that feels like a little too much pressure right now, do 2 months, do 3 months. Start slowly and build up. Do a quarter at a time. Content creation and content planning is a journey. There's no right or wrong way. It's about finding your own path, and it's about finding what works right for you and your organization. And I promise you, starting is always the hardest part. With all elements of marketing, starting is absolutely always the hardest part. And there's a huge evolutionary psychological reason behind this, which we don't have time to talk about today, but push through, make a start, and you will really see the benefits. So before you make a start, we have to make sure our groundwork is in place. And this is another area where people tend to slip up on. It's just because actually we jump straight in, we get really excited, we've done some training, we're all feeling really excited and we just want to go. And we start putting lots of ideas out. Well, actually, before we start, we need to focus and ask ourselves these things. So, and take some time to think about it, really reflect on it, because your content calendar is where everything comes together. So the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what are our marketing goals? So what is the most important thing your marketing is trying to achieve? Are you trying to achieve lots of event signups? Are you trying to increase your volunteer signups? Are you trying to make more and more people know about you? Are you trying to save something? Are you trying to save a language or an experience? And actually, you just want as many people all around the world to know about it. Really ask yourself this question and set yourself some tangible, smart goals. Because not only does this help you go, okay, this is what I have to talk about, it also helps you understand what networks you need to be on. So as you're developing your marketing goals, think about what story you're telling. What is the unique story you are telling? What makes you and your organization different? What is that thing you are telling better than anyone else? Because this will be the hook that brings people to you. People buy from people. People love to see behind the scenes, real life. We don't want to be sold to. We want to be engaged with. So think about what story you're telling. And then we have to think about our audience personas. So actually, who are we talking to? And what matters to them? And once you understand your audience personas, who you're talking to, what matters to them, you can start to look at what networks and tools you should be using. Because big spoiler alert with all of marketing, you need to be where your customers are. So really understand your audience personas and figure out where they are, and then make sure you show up there. Look at what content you had. So I know you've just had an awesome session with James. So you should all be sitting there going, well, we've got loads of content. So you've got lots of things that you can be talking about, and you can go, we know that we can repurpose this existing content. We can make it evergreen, and we can really make it sweat. And then what other content do I need to create? Are there any little bits where actually I'm missing something? I need to slot something in. We have an event coming up, or we want to leverage Christmas and Christmas gifting. I'm a big believer that absolutely everything in the world can be a Christmas gift, including event attendance and people coming to an experience. So is there any additional content you need to create? And be really honest and transparent during this process, because it will save you time later on. And it is time to start putting pen to paper or keys to keyboards, depending how you're working. So let's make a start. So again, how do we actually start? How do we pull this all apart? So the first thing we need to think about is our content pillars. So yes, we need to put in our really big hierarchy. We are going to be emailing here. We're going to be using social here. But actually, we also need to think about our content pillars. Because when I say to you, we have to start planning our content for the next quarter, actually, that's a lot of content. And you might not always have a campaign running. And that's completely fine within marketing. We can always move campaign to campaign. But then when we start talking about social and we have to constantly show up and build these constant conversations, or we start talking about email and we go, well, we know that a humanistic approach sells better. So within our email campaigns, we may send out regular newsletters and need to slot in other information. So how do we fill that? How do we create regular content without boring people? And we do this by creating content pillars. So content pillars are literally a content theme. It's that simple. And every organization should have several different content pillars that reflect what is important to the business, to the organization, and to the audience. So these are things that you need to talk about. These are things that you need to cover within all of your content. So what is your unique selling point, your USP? Why do people visit you, and what makes you different? Why are people coming to your experience or engaging with your organization? What makes you worth a visit over everyone else? We have to include some inspirational content. So why should they visit? What to expect? What is going on now? What is a day in a life for our organization? It could be open days or event promotion. So your content pillars link back to these key marketing goals. So if one of your marketing goals is to make sure all of your events sell out, a key content pillar for you should be your event and open day promotion. If one of your marketing goals is to get school visits, we know that one of your content pillars needs to be school groups and content based around schools. If you need more volunteers, again, if that's a key marketing goal, we know that one of our content pillars, there will be elements of our content within our content calendar that speaks directly to volunteer recruitment. But your content pillars can be absolutely anything, and they are unique to your organization. So they could be your location. They could be your ambition. It could be you are on a mission to save the world. It could be you're on the mission to educate. You're on a mission to save a language. So think about what your content pillars are, because they help guide you in absolutely everything, including when it comes to thinking campaign. So again, a campaign seems to be one of those words that really scares people. It goes, do you know what? We have a big campaign coming for Christmas. And then the rest of the year, no one mentions it. Campaigns are a selected period of time that focus on one specific thing, a talking point or a focus. So you could be telling a certain story. It could be a certain awareness month. It could run up to an event. This thinking campaign helps you create a variety of content around key messages. So again, look back at your marketing goals and your newly created content pillars and go, we have an event coming up for Halloween. We know that one of our marketing goals is to sell out all of our events, and we know that our events are a content pillar. So what we're going to do within our content calendar is put in, this is the event, and this is when we need to start mentioning it. And then once Halloween is finished, great, campaign done, on to the next thing. And it's okay to have a little break between campaigns, because now we have our content pillars that we can fill the quiet periods with. So, as I've already alluded to, I'm a massive believer in thinking and starting backwards with your content planning. Now, this may sound really bizarre, but if you've got events or something big happening within your organization, use the event date as a starting point and work backwards. And we do this simply because otherwise it's really easy to let event dates sneak up on you. So we know that half term is coming, I believe half term is next week. We then have Halloween as well. If we have Halloween in as a lead point, that is what we are pushing towards. We know then a day before or on the day we have to go, this event is happening, come and join us. A day before we have to do the last call. This is your last chance to pre-book tickets. You can trigger FOMO in there and go, although there will be tickets available on the door, there is no guarantee the venue won't be full. A few days before that, we can start teasing out what is happening. We can show people how we're getting ready and what the event or the campaign is going to feature. So always use the lead thing that you are focusing on as that key date, and then work yourself backwards. And this can work for absolutely anything. And then think outside. So this is another thing which is great when you are between campaigns. So don't just rely on things happening within your organization. Look for other big trending events and topics to cover the slower months and to maximize potential reach across all of your communications. If something is happening in the world around you and you know that would benefit your organization or reflects to your organization, don't be afraid to throw that into your content calendar. Content calendars don't have to be fixed and rigid. They can be agile as events around you change. There is this phenomenal calendar, which Jade will get shared with you, which shares everything that's kind of happening. I've gone for November because I felt like we couldn't put October's in this anymore. But this allows you to plan, and as I've already said, work backwards. So Guy Fawkes Night is the 5th of November. Actually, what can we do as an organization to think about Guy Fawkes Night? Can we look at Guy Fawkes through the ages? Is this relevant to us? If so, slot it into your content calendar. National Stress Awareness Day, Remembrance Day. There are so many trending days, events, topics, awareness campaigns throughout the entire year. They're always going on. So get access to them. We'll get you a lovely Excel doc shared afterwards. and think, is this relevant for my business? Is this relevant for my organization? Can we leverage it? Or are we just going to put a post up which is happy Thanksgiving to everyone, because we know actually we can build up some engagement that way, and it's a nice easy win for us. Within all of your content, remember, content is always a balance. It doesn't matter what sector you are in, all of your customers will still be in a sales funnel. So they will still be preparing to come and experience you or engage with you. So always think within all of your content, it is a balance. We are looking to engage, excite, and educate. And we need to create content that speaks to everyone at different stages of their journey. So remember, within all of our marketing, we aren't just pushing for donations or volunteers or getting people to come to events. We're trying to grow our entire marketing audience. And to do this, you need to balance all the elements of your content, not just push for action. We are talking about marketing, not sales. And then label your content. So this is very much an internal thing, but it does really help you when it comes to reviewing and analyzing your content. So add labels to your content. This allows you to make sure you're balancing your content and meeting all of your objectives and hitting all of those content pillars. It also makes understanding your content much, much easier, as you can really clearly see what each element of content was and what it reflected. And then give yourself time. So always turn content planning and content writing into a habit. Set aside time each week to work on each area of your content plan, and always make sure you're working ahead of yourself. So many people think that marketing is done live. Oh, that email campaign I got must have been worked on yesterday or today. Actually, it was probably written 2 or 3 months ago. Always try to work ahead and turn it into a habit, because that means if anything does happen, your content and your marketing still runs. And then finally, think about multiple seeds. So this is a really fundamental part of all marketing, and especially content calendars. You don't just write a blog. When you are creating content, write everything you need for it for the future. So write the press release, write multiple social media posts, pulling at different elements, write the email campaign, and slot them all into your content calendar. So you're not just doing one piece of work and then figuring out where it fits in later. You're writing the blog, you're doing everything else around it, and you're doing all that content calendar work at the same time. And think about the different angles of your content, and think about it when you're in that mindset, because trust me, it's so much easier when you've just written a blog to write the email campaign and write the social content all at the same time. And here's just a couple of examples of multiple seeds. So these aren't just social media seeds, but this was for an event called Ken Ren. And what it was 300 years of history shown in one night. This is quite an interesting example to give you, as we are just selling one event over and over again. I hear a lot, well, actually, how do you promote the same thing over and over again? We do this same event, we do something for the school holidays every summer. How do we make it different? We look at our different audience personas, we look at our different content pillars, and we go, how can we leverage this? So on the left, we are leveraging Macbeth, and we are speaking more to people who love history. Whereas on the right, we've got that really clear message that spending time together as a family is priceless. So we are promoting the exact same thing, but we are seeding it in very different ways, which allows us to speak to very different audiences. So once we've done all of this, how do we know if it's working? It's another great question that I get asked all of the time. How do I know if this is actually working? So another quick poll for everyone. If I can get some reactions, it would be awesome. So how often do you check your marketing insights? So this could be anything. This could be your Google Analytics, your social insights even, your email marketing insights. How often do you actively review anything that you do to kind of get some data back? So hopefully we've got a few likes and thumbs up going off across the screen now. So this is normally where people kind of fall down, is they don't remember to kind of actually go in and check their results and see what's going on. But the great news is all marketing tools have free insights. You just have to find them. So if you are using social media tools for your content, it'll be there. Google Analytics is an awesome free tool. Email marketing, all of these things have great free tools and resources. And please get into the habit of checking them as often as you can. Monthly, like Alice has said, is normally a great place to start. Once a month gives you a good chance to see what's happening and what results have had. So there are so many places, as I said, Google Analytics, email insights, social insights, but as well, we can look at the wider organization. So the more we work towards your content plan, the more we'll start to understand what is and isn't working. So we can see an increase in these goals. Are more people physically attending our events? Are more people engaging with us? Are there more people on our mailing list? Do we have more volunteers? Are more people talking about us in the general world? Is there more press? Is there more bloggers talking about us? Google Alerts are a phenomenal way to manually monitor how many people are talking about you across the web, and they're completely free. Just go to Google Alerts, type in your organization's name, and you'll get an email every time you're mentioned. And then social listening. So social listening is literally just the art form of going into your insights and paying attention to what people are saying about you. Reading your comments, reading your mentions, seeing what people are talking about when they tag you in, seeing what people are talking about when you're using your hashtags. And then you can start to understand how people feel about you. But as everyone on this call is probably aware, we are seeing a lot of changes at the moment. And within reporting, I always recommend a really holistic approach. So we don't just look at the digital data. Instead, we physically ask people. We go and speak to the team and go, are more people in the gift shop? Have we had more volunteers, and where have they found us? Are more people talking about the events and experiences that we're offering? Are we getting more donations? Are more people contacting us for support? We can't just rely on data anymore. It is about looking at the full picture. And then finally, remember, with all of your marketing, remember it's always a test. So use your content calendar to fill in all of the data as you get it. If a member of the team says to you, do you know what, we had loads of people through the door this day, or loads of people were talking about this new exhibit we have, make sure you make a note of that in your content calendar, because that allows you to go back and analyze what worked and what didn't. And it allows you to push forward with some more knowledge. So I know we've covered an awful lot. So just my kind of final words of wisdom before you start your content calendars and we go into a Q&A. So probably my most important piece of advice is don't overcomplicate things, especially if you are just starting. So keep it simple, keep it slick, and as you get more used to it, as you start to develop, then you can add more things in. Keep it simple, make a start, and then work from there. Starting is always the hardest part. I know I've already said this before, but honestly, starting is the hardest part. I promise you, once you make a start, it'll all become so much easier. Remember that all marketing is always a test, especially with digital marketing and the world we live in now. You are competing against absolutely everything. You're competing against news, you're competing against the cost of living crisis. So remember, it's always a test. Keep trying new things and see what works for you. And then finally, just be brave and give it a go. So we now have a 10-minute Q&A if there are any questions. I am on absolutely every social media network at Also Catherine if anyone wants to contact me. And then I will
That was excellent, Catherine. Thank you so much for all those little gems and helping us think about how we can get started and be brave. And I love, in my experience with content calendars, it is about keeping them sustainable. If you fill them in so much that you never update them ever again, they become pretty redundant pretty quickly. So, making sure that we're keeping on top of that. Just to give people a chance to write their questions in the chat, I just wondered if you have any, because I can imagine a lot of the professionals or the comms people we have on the call today are thinking, well, it's just me, I'm trying to come up with these ideas by myself, or a very small team. Do you have any tips on how we can get volunteers maybe involved, or other staff members involved in kind of coming up with ideas for campaigns and how to keep it interesting?
So I absolutely love getting volunteers and other team members involved. And I know it sounds really simple, but I normally just ask them. You will normally find there is someone on a team who loves something weird and wonderful. So you might actually have someone, you go, do you know what, guys, this is what we're doing. These are the campaigns we're thinking of, but actually we want to get people more and more involved. So push it out to them and try to get their buy-in. So if they can go, well, actually, I've got this idea, and you go, do you know what, that's a great idea. Can you help us with it? They will take ownership and they'll naturally get excited. A lot of it is, we know that volunteers are really busy. We know that they're already giving time, and we know that lots of the team can be really stretched. So if you can find something that naturally really excites them and naturally gets them involved, that will help. You will also normally find within organizations, there is someone somewhere who loves doing something that you absolutely hate. So by all means, kind of see what you can push out to them, but always ask for ideas. And when they give you ideas, make sure you use and support them. Because if you don't, it's just really deflecting. Why would someone keep giving you ideas, and why would someone keep offering to support you if you're just going to say no? So I don't know if that answered the question, if I just went off on a bit of a tangent there. So
No, that's great. That's great. Thank you. So Emily has asked in the chat, how do you keep up with the schedule you set, especially when you're just a very small team without a dedicated marketing or social media person? What would your thoughts be about that?
So I think that goes back to my first top tip, which is don't overcomplicate it. Be really realistic with yourself and go, this is what I have time to do. This is what's really important for our organization. And if you currently don't have a content calendar, start by analyzing your insights. So go to your Google Analytics, look at your email, look at your social. Well, actually, this is where people come from. This is where we are getting those results. So really focus your efforts there, and then keep your content calendar simple. We see it, lots of people get excited, they slide so many different things into their content calendar, and then it gets too cumbersome. Just remember, it's only you. Be really realistic about what is important, what's going to hit those marketing goals, what's going to hit those important KPIs, and focus your efforts on there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Louisa has asked about analysis. Do you have any tips on how to set realistic targets when looking at, say, engagement figures or website views? What would you say about that?
So this is always such an interesting question, especially if you haven't had any targets before. So if you've got insights, so if you've already got Google Analytics, if you're looking at your social insights, go back and review the percentage increases you've had in the last month, the last 3 months. And if you go, well, actually, our engagement has been a little bit like naff, we haven't really had a great deal of engagement, it's really feasible to go, do you know what, we're going to set ourselves a 5 or 10% interest increase. We're going to focus really hard on a month and then see what's feasible. So if you've never done it before, it's a little bit of a finger in the wind kind of exercise. So go, well, this is what we're going to try for. Then after you've done a month, you can go, actually, we smashed that. We got like 40% increased engagement. So then you can set a more realistic goal moving forwards. Whereas if it was much harder, if it was a much harder sell, you can go, okay, we now know and understand this. So what we're going to do is go for a 5% increase next month. So if you've never done them before, it's a little bit of a finger in the wind, but treat that as your initial benchmark and then allow yourself to move forward from that.
That's great, Catherine. I think that was one of the takeaways from your presentation, where you talked about people engagement is so important, isn't it? People don't just want to be kind of spoken at, they want to engage with your organization or with what you're telling them. And so just always asking yourself, well, what am I expecting someone to do as a result of this social media post? How am I expecting them to engage with them? Am I giving them opportunity? I think is a really good point. And Tina has asked, what if you want to market to generate sales products rather than just talking about events or getting new volunteers? If you do have product lines that you're looking to sell, what would be your tips around them?
So product sales, there are a lot of commonalities and interests. So again, go for, well, do we know that we're having a sale this day? Or look for your key consumer buying patterns. So payday, there's normally a boost. There's normally a pickup around payday. Then a lot of it results back to actually really knowing and understanding your customer persona. So when it comes to e-com marketing, we normally look at a few different things, such as, why is this person buying this product? What is their final motivator? Their final motivator is the thing that really gets them over the line. So if it is a general, again, e-commerce product, what we would do is look at things like in-group mentality. So has everyone else got one? Is it actually, it's a tendency to treat? So they've worked really hard and they've aspired to own this product for a long time. So can we do something in our content to inspire them? Are they motivated by an offer code? So it's about understanding that and then fitting all of these different things as a trial and test within your content calendar. And if you have, say, a sale of products, say, I've come to your, sorry, Tina, I don't know where you're from. Say, I've come to your organization, I've had a great time. Actually, you're now targeting me to buy something afterwards. So then it's about focusing on what you're really selling. Because with products, it is rarely a product. It is normally a feeling or an experience. So actually, then it's about understanding how we can trigger that desire to purchase from whether it be a memory or whether it be a product while you're in your store. Take away this memory that'll last you a lifetime. So you're triggering that emotive family response. So hopefully that helps, Tina.
That's great, Catherine. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Catherine, for your brilliant session. Thank you to everyone who's attended this morning. It's been some really great sessions from both James and Catherine. Don't forget to rate this session by using the star system below this screen. And if you'd like to look back over any of the content from this session, it will be available for on-demand viewing on the platform within 24 hours, and you'll be able to find it within the sessions tab. We're going to take a lunch break now, and we will return at 1:30 for the next session on the benefits of testing digital approaches. Use the break to network, connect with other attendees via the networking tab. And thank you again for tuning in.